One of Southeast Asia's most serious diplomatic tests in recent memory is playing out along a border that has long been a source of tension, grief, and unresolved history. The dispute between Cambodia and Thailand, two neighboring nations bound by ancient culture yet divided by competing territorial claims, has once again moved to the center of regional attention. And this time, the Philippines is stepping in to hold the line. Philippine President Ferdinand Marcos Jr. stood between Cambodian Prime Minister Hun Manet and Thai Prime Minister Anutin Charnvirakul as the two leaders shook hands following a trilateral meeting in Cebu, in a moment that carried immense symbolic weight for a region desperate to avoid another slide into conflict. The roots of this crisis run deep. For decades, Cambodia and Thailand have disagreed over sections of their shared border, particularly areas surrounding ancient Khmer temple sites and strategically sensitive territory. Those disagreements have never been fully resolved, and whenever political tensions rise or military activity increases on either side, the old wounds reopen. Tensions along the Cambodia-Thailand border escalated sharply in July 2025, resulting in the heaviest fighting between the two countries in over a decade. The conflict involved heavy artillery exchanges and airstrikes, which displaced an estimated 130,000 people and caused at least 36 civilian deaths. What began as isolated confrontations quickly spiraled into a dangerous military standoff, sending shockwaves across the entire region. Hundreds of thousands of people were evacuated from affected areas on both sides of the border. Communities that had previously enjoyed relative stability were shattered overnight. Local economies collapsed, border crossings shut down, and families were left with little more than fear and uncertainty. The international community moved quickly. After several days of hostilities, Thailand and Cambodia agreed to an immediate ceasefire on the 28th of July 2025 during emergency talks in Putrajaya, Malaysia. A truce brokered with the support of ASEAN Malaysia, then serving as ASEAN Chair, and international representatives from the United States and China, but the calm did not hold. On the 8th of December 2025, Thailand and Cambodia resumed fighting after both sides accused each other of breaking the ceasefire. The violence intensified once again, drawing in heavy weapons and, on the Thai side, airstrikes that struck inside Cambodian territory. Thailand has lost 26 soldiers and 1 civilian as a direct result of the combat since December 7, while Cambodia reported 30 civilians killed and 90 injured. A comprehensive ceasefire agreement known as the Kuala Lumpur Peace Accord was ultimately signed on the 26th of October 2025 at the Kuala Lumpur Convention Center during the 47th ASEAN Summit. The accord was co-signed by Thai Prime Minister Anutin Charnvirakul and Cambodian Prime Minister Hun Manet, while the signing ceremony was witnessed by Malaysian Prime Minister Anwar Ibrahim and U.S. President Donald Trump. Even so, the peace remained brittle. Thailand continued to occupy parts of Cambodia after multiple ceasefire agreements ended months of deadly fighting. Cambodian Prime Minister Hun Manet was blunt about the situation. We still have Thai forces occupy deep into Cambodian territory in many areas. This is further beyond even Thailand's own unilateral claim, he said. This is not an accusation, but it's a statement of the facts on the ground. That uneasy reality is what made the talks in Cebu so urgent. The Philippines assumed the ASEAN chairmanship in 2026 under the theme Navigating Our Future Together, with a stated commitment to championing peace, stability, and dialogue in the region. And it wasted no time putting those words into action. This meeting was arranged by the Philippines as a way to provide its good offices and our capacity as chair of ASEAN for 2026 to Cambodia and Thailand in order to provide a meaningful space for constructive dialogue on their bilateral border issues. Ferdinand Marcos Jr. said during a joint press conference after the talks. The statement was measured and deliberate, entirely in keeping with ASEAN's traditional diplomatic approach. Rather than publicly assigning blame or threatening penalties, the bloc has historically preferred quiet negotiation and consensus building behind closed doors. The Cebu talks follow that same model. Marcos noted that the discussions demonstrated how ASEAN's relationships are built on mutual respect, trust, solidarity, and understanding, requiring sensitivity to each member's concerns and a willingness to manage differences constructively. Both sides expressed a degree of gratitude for the intervention. Thai Prime Minister Anutin Charnvirakul addressed the moment directly. Thailand and Cambodia are two neighboring countries. It is best that we avoid conflict. It only brings losses and suffering, he said. Now is the time for us to look forward and walk this path together toward peace. This requires sincerity, good faith, and determination. Cambodian Prime Minister Hun Manet, for his part, acknowledged the role Manila had played. The Philippines' constructive leadership in promoting regional peace, stability, and unity is commendable, he said. But beneath the diplomatic language, significant challenges remain. Border demarcation is still unresolved. Military positions near disputed zones remain active, and nationalist sentiment on both sides continues to make compromise politically delicate for any leader willing to soften their stance publicly. The talks also reaffirmed the continuing role of the ASEAN Observer Team, composed of representatives from ASEAN member states, in observing, verifying, and reporting the implementation of all agreements. The AOT's mandate was extended for another 3 months, lasting until July of this year, with the Philippines serving as its coordinator. The observer mission carries weight beyond its modest scale. It represents ASEAN's determination to solve regional problems from within, without handing the reins to outside powers. That matters enormously at a time when Southeast Asia has become an increasingly active arena for great power competition, with both the United States and China deeply engaged in the region's security and economic landscape. ASEAN leaders at the Cebu summit were simultaneously grappling with other pressing concerns: energy security, food supply chains, and the economic ripple effects of ongoing instability in the Middle East. Another military crisis within the bloc itself was simply not something the region could absorb. That shared sense of urgency helped create the political momentum that brought Cambodia and Thailand to the same table. Marcos chose his closing words carefully. "We express our confidence in the ability of both Cambodia and Thailand to resolve the matter amicably and to manage their differences," he said, a message designed to encourage cooperation without pointing fingers. For the Philippines, the Cebu mediation represents a meaningful test of what its ASEAN chairmanship can actually deliver. Manila took the helm at a time when ASEAN faces deepening divisions, stalled reform efforts, and growing scrutiny over its ability to manage great power rivalry. Stepping forward as a credible mediator in a live border conflict is a way of demonstrating that the Philippines intends to lead with substance, not just ceremony. The road ahead, however, remains uncertain. Key territorial disputes have not been settled. Ceasefire violations have happened before and could happen again. Trust between Phnom Penh and Bangkok has been badly damaged, and rebuilding it will take far more than a handshake in Cebu. But the handshake happened, direct talks took place. Both governments chose dialogue over escalation, at least for now. For the hundreds of thousands of displaced civilians who simply want to return home, and for a region that cannot afford another armed conflict within its own borders, that is not a small thing. It may be the beginning of something fragile, but it is a beginning.